What's the secret to fitness?
Hi, Kat.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to Foundations in Fitness. I am so happy you joined me today. I'm recording this video right after I recorded the last video, although for you it might be a few days. But we're back for Foundations in Fitness number 2. This is my base level introductory information series, getting anybody from 9 to 90 years old involved in fitness, whether you are a veteran lifter or a newbie who has never even seen a barbell. This video series is for you because we're going to be going over all the information in a way that is easy to digest and easy to understand. So today's topic is going to be the types of workouts. This is going to be more geared to beginners or novices, people who haven't been involved in the fitness community, but I think everybody can benefit because we might not all know about all of this. So stick around and hopefully you learn something. So, workout types. General types of workouts. This is not going to be all encompassing. This is going to be a very base level of knowledge. Broad strokes, general types of workouts. We're going to have cardiovascular or cardio. You probably heard about that. We're going to have hypertrophy lifting. We're going to have mobility and flexibility, and then functional fitness. There's a lot of subtypes, subcultures, lifting cultures around this, but I'm going to say that these are the all-encompassing categories that workouts can fall under. So, what is cardio? A lot of you have probably heard of cardio. A lot of you probably hate cardio, but cardio is not running 6 miles a day. It's very different. Cardio is a repetitive movement done for a set time, distance, pace, or other goal in which the main purpose is to keep the heart working at a certain rate. Did not pull that from the dictionary, did not pull that from any scientific studies. That is how I define it in my own head. So a lot of you might be saying, well, that's not how I know what cardio is. Cardio is basically running, biking, swimming, rowing. If you'll notice, all of those are repetitive movements done to a certain distance, pace, or other goal. And the goal is to keep the heart working at a certain rate. So again, that's my definition of what cardio is. If you have a different definition, leave it in the comments and I'll take a look at it and see what I think about it. I'll probably agree with you. So some examples of cardio. HIIT stands for high intensity interval training. That's a recent fad. A lot of people enjoy it because you can get a lot of work done very quickly. It's one form of cardio training. Endurance. This is going to be your long distance runners, anywhere from 800 meters out to a 200-mile run. I'm going to call that endurance training. Anything over like 2 minutes, I'm going to call endurance. Then you have zone-specific training. We'll get into this in a future video, but you have zones 1 through 5. That is basically windows of heart rate. So zone 1 is going to be the lowest heart rate, generally going to be able to do that for the longest period of time. Zone 5 is all-out effort. Your heart rate is as high as you can possibly get it, and you're not going to be doing it for very long. So what are our goals with cardio training? We're going to be working on heart, lung, blood vessel health, and health of some muscles. Generally, with cardio, you're not going to be working certain muscles, often going to be working your legs a lot more than your arms, although that's not always true. Generally, when people are doing cardio, it's going to be a lot of working with their legs. The American Heart Association says that you should get at least 150 minutes a week of cardio workout. Now, that sounds like a lot, 150 minutes, but if we break this down, hold on, let's do some math in our heads, to 7 days a week. Let's say we're going to do 6 days and 1 rest day. What is that, like 25 minutes a day? As long as you're doing a repetitive movement for a set time, distance, pace, or other goal in which the main purpose is to keep the heart working at a certain rate, you are doing cardio.
Hi, Kat.
If you have other questions about cardio, we will be doing a deep dive on cardio later. This is just generally information about all the different types of workouts. So, getting into hypertrophy. Some of my strength bros out there might have been saying, well, hypertrophy and powerlifting or Olympic lifting are different. Yes, they are different. For the purposes of this, I'm going to say that hypertrophy training is putting sufficient strain on the muscle in order to cause it to grow to adapt to the stress, and that can be anything from strength building, bodybuilding, Olympic lifting, isolation work. All of that I'm putting under hypertrophy training. There is other ways to grow muscle besides hypertrophy that has been explored in scientific literature, but our main way to gain strength, gain muscle mass, isolate our muscles is going to be hypertrophy training. The goal of this is to increase the size or strength of muscles, as you might have gathered from strength lifting, bodybuilding, Olympic lifting. That is the goal. Grow our muscles, grow our strength. Other benefits that come with hypertrophy training, but again, the main goal is to grow our muscles. The American Heart Association again says we should do at least 2 days of resistance training per week. Those can be divided however you want. There's no way that you have to train. If you're doing 2 days a week, I would probably do one upper body and one lower body day. Personally, I do 6 days of training a week, but I've also been lifting for 8 years. So you do what works for you, what you enjoy. If you don't enjoy any hypertrophy training, I'm sorry. You still got to do something in order to keep your muscles strong and healthy. Find something that you enjoy lifting and do it a few times. Moving on, we have mobility and flexibility. This is going to be increasing the range of motion and range of strength for joints by putting them in increasingly weaker positions over time. Again, this is not a definition I pulled from somewhere except for out of my own head. Mobility and flexibility. This can be stretching, this can be yoga, Pilates, Tai Chi, anything where you are putting yourself in a position that is difficult to hold, that is increasing the range of motion of your muscles. The goal of mobility and flexibility training is strengthening joints and muscles, especially where they are made weaker by your body positioning. If you are a strength bro or a gym bro, you have not tried yoga or Pilates or Tai Chi, give it a try. You're gonna be like, holy crap, these suburban moms have actually been working pretty hard and I've been making fun of them for going to yoga. Try it and you will understand that it is not as easy as it looks. For the American Heart Association, there's no official recommendation on mobility and flexibility, and so the Andrew Peters Association of Fitness is saying that you just need to do it every day. Mobility and flexibility is something that is important throughout our entire lifespan. For those of you who don't know, the number one source of injuries for people 65 and older is falling due to a lack of mobility and flexibility. So if you want to be 80 years old and not putting yourself in danger, put yourself through those ranges of motion that are a little bit uncomfortable. If you are bending down to pick something up, don't do what's comfortable. Stretch yourself to pick it up a little bit, and that can be just part of your stretching throughout the day. Moving in ways that are not comfortable are going to be some of the best ways that we can increase our mobility and flexibility over time, and doing it daily is very important. Finally, we're getting into what I am deeming functional fitness. For this, we are saying functional fitness is using multiple movement patterns to increase strength, cardio, flexibility, all simultaneously. This is basically training for everyday life. This can be CrossFit, most group fitness classes, whether it's like a hip hop cardio class or a Pilates or Zumba or a yoga class. Any group fitness class is generally going to be put under functional fitness. The goal of functional fitness is to be able to increase your performance in all activities you experience in daily life, and it typically mimics normal movement patterns. You might be saying, when am I doing warrior one pose? Or when am I doing 15 clean and jerks and going straight into a bike sprint? For those of you who are CrossFit or yoga people. And the answer is probably not ever in your daily life. But how often are you going to be lifting something above your head? Or how often are you going to be reaching over to a shelf that's kind of hard to reach? Or how often are you going to be standing on your tippy toes to reach the very top shelf to grab something that might be a little bit too heavy for you? Pretty much every day. And that's why I think functional fitness is great. If you don't like CrossFit or you don't like group fitness classes, you're not going to be able to do it all at the same time. So as long as you're hitting those other areas of cardio and mobility and flexibility while you're also doing your strength training at a different time, hit all three groups, because that is going to be what leads you to being happy and healthy. What's the secret to fitness? Doing it all. You can't just be a cardio athlete. You can't just be a strength athlete. You can't just be a yoga mom. You cannot just be a CrossFitter. Well, I suppose you could, because CrossFit does hit all three, generally speaking. So let's just stick to the big three. You can't just do strength. You can't just do cardio. You can't just do mobility. You have to do all three, because if you are flexible enough to bend over and pick up a box, you might not be strong enough to pick it up because it weighs 90 pounds. If you're strong enough to pick up the box, you might not be flexible enough to pick up the box because it's going to hurt your back. And if you are flexible enough to bend over and strong enough to pick up the box, you might not have good enough cardio to carry it 300 yards from your truck to wherever you're going. Got to work on all three. That way you can be the most well-rounded human being. And here's my caveat to this. I hate cardio and I hate stretching. I do not enjoy them, but I do enjoy living. So I work them in and I suffer for the 10 or 15 minutes a day that I'm doing them, because I know that in the long run it's going to be healthy for me. If you don't enjoy doing something, it doesn't have to be your main workout. But there is something to be said about doing something that is hard because it is hard and because you know it will benefit you in the future. It might not be fun in the moment, but at the end you're going to look at yourself and say, wow, I did something hard and I made myself better today. So find that balance between cardio, hypertrophy, mobility, flexibility, functional fitness. Do it all as well as you can. That's going to be all for today's videos. If you have any thoughts, please leave them in the comments. If you're enjoying this series, please hit the subscribe button and share it with somebody that you would like to see become more fit, more healthy, and enjoy life better. Fitness is something that is for everybody, and I think everybody should be maintaining their fitness level on their own accord, and the goal of this series is to put it in your guys' hands. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.